I built a Home Assistant dashboard using ESP32-S3.
嗨，乐心，打开空气净化器。嗨，乐心，关闭空气净化器。打开台灯。打开灯带。台灯调暗。台灯调亮。关闭台灯。关闭灯带。打开日历。打开时间。播放音乐。
Source code and 3D printed case are now open source on Gitee. Do check it out. So how does the smart home control works? By binding my smart devices on Home Assistant and using an ESP32 to send an MQTT message to Home Assistant, I can control my smart home devices. Here begs the question, what is Home Assistant? The smart home industry consists of numerous companies with their own ecosystem, such as Google Home and Amazon Alexa. However, they are not cross-compatible. Devices from different brands will require different apps to control, making it difficult to manage. Home Assistant is the open-source smart home automation platform. It allows users to bind various smart home devices across brands, set up automation and scripts based on device status, set time, sensor reading, or any other trigger events. In other words, by setting up Home Assistant, we can use a single dashboard to control all our devices across multiple smart home ecosystems. Interested to set up your own? Here's how to deploy your Home Assistant and control your smart home devices. On the official website, we can see that Home Assistant OS is supported on Linux, Mac OS, as well as Windows. But deploying on the Raspberry Pi is the most straightforward. Let's follow these instructions. Start by preparing a Raspberry Pi, power supply, SD card, and Ethernet. Click on View Tutorial and follow the steps. Click this link to download the Raspberry Pi imager. Once download is complete, connect your SD card to your PC. Launch the Raspberry Pi imager. Select the corresponding Raspberry Pi version, followed by Home Assistant and Home Automation. Choose SD card. Click Next. Start installation. Connect to the internet via Ethernet. This is the most reliable method. You can also connect via Wi-Fi after launching Home Assistant. Next, go to the SD card. Create a config folder. In the folder, create a network folder. In that folder, create a My Network file. Place the configuration data here. You can check my repo for the data. Insert the SD card into the Raspberry Pi and connect to the Ethernet cable and power supply. Make sure both the Raspberry Pi and the PC are on the same network, connected to the internet. You can connect a HDMI display if you would like to monitor the startup progress. I usually go without it. Once system startup is complete, open the router webpage and you will see this preparation interface. This will take around 20 minutes. Once that is complete, you will arrive at the welcome page. Select Create My Smart Home Device. Set your username, password, and location. The system will set time, weather information, etc. based on your location. Once done, we can finally use the Home Assistant platform. But if you would like to control your smart home devices via MQTT, we will need to install some add-ons. Select Settings on the bottom left. Enter Add-ons. At the add-on stores, download these additional add-ons. We will need these two add-ons, Advanced SSH and Web Terminal. This allows us to use command line directly from the web page. Next is Mosquito Broker, an open source MQTT broker. I'm sure users of MQTT should be very familiar with this MQTT broker. Next, we'll install the various smart home brand components. Run this command on a terminal and install the Home Assistant Community Store. This store allows you to download various smart home brand components. For example, if you would like to control Xiaomi device on Home Assistant, you can download the Xiaomi MIoT Auto. There's a huge collection of components here. For example, Hey, Google Home, and Apple HomeKit. Let's try setting up a Xiaomi device. Download Xiaomi MIoT Auto and sign in. Open Settings. Device and Services. Add Integration. Search for Xiaomi MIoT Auto. There will be an account sign-in pop-up. Log into your Xiaomi account. We'll start recognizing Xiaomi devices that are paired to the account. We can now see the devices on your Home Assistant page. On this page, we can control the devices and read the output data. So how do we control these devices via MQTT? Go to Settings, Automations and Scenes. Create automation. There are two options. First is an input device trigger event. For example, certain devices' sensor reading hits a set value or a set time, or will receive a MQTT message. Second will be the actions to perform when triggered. For example, turn on or off the desk light, or raise or dim the brightness. On the input device, set to MQTT. The topic and payload are fully customizable. But if you plan to set up numerous devices, it's best to organize them properly for ease of management. At the actions, we can set single or multiple devices. For example, we can set the bedside lamp, set it to turn on and brightness to 50%. Click on Save and it will be active. To test that it's working, we can use a MQTT testing tool, such as MQTT-X, to perform this test. We'll create a new link here. For host, set to MQTT Home Assistant.local. Port set to 1883. Username and password will be the same as the previous username and password. Click Connect. Once done, send a message via MQTT to attempt controlling the device. Next, we can set up ESP32 to send MQTT messages to Home Assistant. Make sure that the ESP32 and Home Assistant are on the same network. The next step is very easy. Simply follow the example code from ESP-IDF and copy it over to your project. On the MQTT config, under URL, set your Home Assistant username and password. Use the API for MQTT client publish. For more information, check out the ESP-IDF user guide. Make sure the MQTT message tallies with the Home Assistant settings. You can check the MQTT connection status when you wish to control the device. You can call the corresponding custom function.
打开台灯。
If you're interested, go check it out. What are your thoughts on Home Assistant and the future of smart home? Let me hear your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time!